So it is month 1 out of 2 of my low buy for indie perfume, and here is a status update on how things are going. So here are my old rules from last time. Basically, I have a cap of $200, which includes shipping and package release, and that includes an order I have from a friend ongoing. And then there are some things that I've specifically laid out that I'm interested in. For example, there is a scent I want to repurchase, and I can get it directly from the brand or as an add-on via the decanter of a GWP. Kise, if I make no purchases until a sale, this is no longer valid because I have definitely made purchases and the sale has not happened, as in they haven't even reopened. They will in a few days. We'll see how it goes then. I also listed out from Wihtout that I was interested in 2 of their releases. The Liliths were delayed a little bit in order to get the Halloweenies out. And then from Nava, I also allowed myself to get some decants, and I also wrote down surprise Thoth, if there is a Thoth's archive rolling out, which hasn't happened yet. And then I also listed that I'm okay with getting 2 purchases via swaps. This hasn't happened yet either, which is great. The caveat to that is that those items must have already been on my wish list before I even saw the items listed. Then, for practical reasons, I'm going to be traveling quite a lot actually, and so I put down an exception is that I am allowed to purchase either locally if there's something special, or getting a custom. This specifically was originally slated for a potential experience in France. I have a suspicion I'm not going to have time for that, but this will crop up in a little bit. And so my goal for this 2-month low buy is to sort of reframe how I think about indie perfumes and the hobby of indie perfumes versus the hobby of purchasing. So to that note, I tallied up, I think, all of my purchases, and there should be 4. I think I only have 3. Nonetheless, here we have it. So on September 14th, 4 days after my low buy started, I immediately went ahead and purchased some $28 worth of Nocturne Alchemy decants because their Halloween release dropped. Now, this was within just over the range of what I set myself, 1 to 3 decants. You see that I got 3 from a GWP, there's a price there, and I got 1 via a friend's decant circle. Not too bad, not great though, because on September 14th, I also made a purchase from Wihtout's Weenies. This ended up being 1 decant of a perfume and 1 decant of, I believe, a hair gloss or a mist, and that tallied up to $19. And then some time passes. I may be missing a purchase in between here and there, but I was gone for quite a while, and when I returned, literally yesterday, which is why I think I'm missing a purchase, because I feel like I've made one in between. But literally yesterday, I decided to purchase 3 Posy decants from a release I told myself I wasn't interested in for a number of reasons, and I did it anyways. So not great. I will consider this progress, however, because I originally was actually thinking about buying decants of the entire collection, and I decided to narrow it down. Nonetheless, this was a late night purchase and not my greatest moment here. Some other purchases didn't formally make it on here, so I'm just going to add in sometime in October. I was traveling and I made a purchase of around $20 for, let's call it, a local indie purchase. That was $29. But if we don't count that and we don't count whatever else I'm missing, that is $27.70, $46.70, $27.70, $46.70, $60, $61.50. So total spent in this month of my 2-month low buy is thus far $61.50 USD. Now, this seems not too bad considering that my total is a cap of $200, but what we're not accounting for is shipping plus bundle release costs. Plus, I owe a friend some money for helping me get decants quite a while ago, and I decided to make those costs part of this limit. So that is probably actually going to be quite a significant chunk of the remainder, which is about $140 left of my alleged budget. And never mind the fact that we didn't actually count in this $29. So if we did, I'm just under half still. And some other things that are worth noting is that while I was traveling, I was actually quite tempted to make another Halloween purchase. So those would have been the Possets. Possets does a Halloween retour every year. HFE decants them. I've tried about 3 to 5 Possets every single retour on average. Sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, sometimes not at all. This year, I think I had flagged down about 5 that I wanted to try, and time got away from me. I was really, really busy, and that prevented the purchase. Now, had I made that purchase, it probably would have been around $20, maybe a little more, and that again would have racked me closer to the halfway mark. So we see here that I made at least 4 purchases online through individual means. So Nocturne Alchemy twice, Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab once, Poesy once, and technically I actually broke my rules quite a bit. So I was not supposed to get this one. So this was an extra. These were extras. And this is certainly, this is within the realm of what I thought it would be. So I spent about $20 outside of my allowable rules. So it's a good thing I built in this limit for flexibility. Now what this does mean is that as more fall releases keep dropping, there's a few other events that are going on, both in my life and both in the outside world. I need to try to keep in mind how I'm doing in terms of progress. For example, I'm not super happy that I made purchases within 7 days of starting a low buy. That's not incredible, and you can actually see that these are some of my highest value item purchases across the board. Oddly enough, the Poesy, despite not being part of the budget, was actually reasonably well restrained. And this one I didn't mind. I went back and forth. I actually went to the shop twice, and they didn't have the form of the product I wanted, but I decided to get it anyways for memory's sake. I have a feeling I'm going to use it maybe 10-20 times, and then the rest of the time of its lifespan it's going to just be a display piece. It looks quite nice in the format of the bottle. I'm not going to say exactly what it was, but yeah, I'm not displeased by this at all. However, what did happen is I was gone for about a week. Turns out a week is actually a really, really long time without Perfume, and without access to every single thing I own. So I didn't see all of my 200 or so full sizes while I was gone, including my personally selected tray. And so when I got back, I didn't even know what to wear. I had brought some samples with me. I'd tried out some new ones and some old ones, but when I got back home, I was at a loss for what to wear. So I pretty much actually wore next to nothing except for basic body products that were also indie products. And I have just remembered the other purchase I done goofed on. So this will be exciting. So I made a purchase from Pulp Fragrance when their Fall 1 release dropped. Now I don't remember what exact day it was, but the total spent was 50 CAD. And the reason I did that was because I was really, really interested in their gift with purchase, which does drive me a little nuts. It is very unfortunate that the product wasn't confirmed to be available afterwards. Nonetheless, did the thing, 50 CAD, about a 1:1.4 ratio. It's probably around like $1.38 USD. Don't actually know, but let's call it that. Actually, $1.38, 1.416, maybe $1.36, like 37 USD. Let's call it that. So if I add in the pulp fall 1 release, then my value goes up quite a bit. We can see this becomes $91.50. That is basically half the budget, not accounting for the fact that none of these products have even shipped yet. Yeah, it's not great. I do actually plan on making a second half of this purchase, essentially because it is one of my favorite brands, and because I do want to hit free shipping. It seems a little silly to pay $15 for purchasing. Here are some of my notes. I actually think at some point I wrote that I would purchase from Pulp, but in theory I wasn't supposed to because I was only supposed to get Moisture Mist. So about $20 of that actually was Moisture Mist. So if we want to finagle the numbers, technically $20 was Moisture Mist, and so maybe you can say like, I don't know, 20, sorry, that's 2/3 of it. So like 23-ish was Perfume. Still not great. There's no point in doing fake math to make things look better. So I did actually indeed make 4 purchases from 4 different brands, 4.5, and got quite close to my spending limit. And there was actually no need to purchase this $20 Moisture Mist because I actually already have some. I have plenty. I have plenty, probably enough to go into next year, and several months into that. So this really should be part of this budget. So great. Wait a second. 37. Excuse me. 98. So that's where we're at, just under half. Not accounting for things I've already purchased but haven't paid for. So, I don't feel so great anymore. I'm glad I remember this one. But yeah, these purchases really, really do rack up. What I'm thinking for next month is I need to stick to this $200 budget. And what that really means is I will not be purchasing anymore from Nocturne Alchemy in the odd chance they release their Christmas release super early, or they have any Thoth archives, unless I it's been on a wish list forever, but I actually can't think of anything. I'm not really interested in all their Eternal Ankh versions. I'm not going to be purchasing any BPAL liths. I'm going to think that over. I really, really don't want to though, because I do actually feel uncomfortable about the way their child is marketed, so, maybe this is a good time to abstain from that contribution. So, no BPAL liths for me. I already have planned to make this purchase. However, it's possible I could reach out and delay this purchase even further, or just pay shipping and not actually get anything from Fall 2.0. That's going to be a legitimate consideration. Chances are I will hit a sensible threshold. If the new free shipping threshold is 150 CAD, I am not going to hit that. That is my goal. I'm just going to pay for shipping, suck it up. It's only like $8 USD, and then buy less product because I don't need that much product. Alternatively, maybe I can pick it up at a future market at some point in the next year if I'm patient enough. And I need to sum up how much I owe my friend, so that can give me a really good handle. Off the top of my head, I'm just gonna say it's like 50 USD. So that really just leaves me 50 USD for this one order. Plus, I do actually need to repurchase one of my Poesy full-size scents. I do have about 3 milliliters left across 2 full-size bottles. So what I may do is I may delay that purchase until the end of the year. And depending on how this goes, I may actually extend my low buy all the way into December as well. Same thing to limit. It's just like any frenzied holiday shopping, any Black Friday shopping. I'm trying to avoid that if possible. So, what's the revised plan? looks like is I have about $100 left in the budget. And the only thing I actively plan on buying, if I'm interested, is Pulp Fall 2, which I'm going to estimate is going to be around 40 USD. That's one of those things. And then I'm going to leave myself a bit of buffer room. Technically, the only brands I'm allowed to buy from at this point are Wihtout and Poesie. So, if they release something I truly am interested in and I'm comfortable paying those like absurd $7-8 for decant, what I might do is I'm going to do 1 to 2 decants of Wihtout, and that's probably going to run me about, let's be generous and call it $15 in case I get like a hair gloss or something like that. And then what I really need to do is check how much I owe. And depending on how much I owe, this is going to affect whether or not I'm okay with purchasing anything from Poesie. That's the other major brand I'm interested in. This is already, say, $65. I'm not going to buy anything from Nocturne Alchemy this year. There wasn't anything I loved from Christmas last year. I don't think the Lost Archive is going to get to me. And yeah, this really sums up pretty appropriately what I'm going to be purchasing. It's really unfortunate. I saw that Phantom's prices increased. I'm actually rather glad they didn't give us time to think it through. That's like my preference, but of course their prices have been incredibly low for a very long time. So the consequences, they would just be losing more money as I rush to purchase. So yeah, this is what it's going to look like for the next month, which is actually still a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And I think this is going to be my major splurge. I really think so. I do actually love supporting local, and astonishingly, this brand has been a major hit for me. And there's nothing else I'm really interested in. I can wait for Kisei, I can wait for Phantom. Those scents are going to be around for a really long time. And I can wait for Posits. I don't actually, genuinely, I have no recollection of the previous Retour samples I've had, and I'd actually rather buy direct from them because there are a couple scents I actually would like to full size, but only if I ever finished their samples, you know? So that's where we stand. May or may not check in at the 2-month mark to see if I want to extend my low buy, as I think I will. This is an unsustainable amount, and funnily enough, I'm pretty sure I've been doing this for a while, so this is not reasonable for me, and I think this is a misuse of funds for myself based on my current status. Yeah, but yes, I should also account for shipping. Who knows how much that's going to be? That's going to be like $20 at least, possibly 30. So there could be no funds after this whatsoever. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes, and then we'll see if I can achieve my goal of just reassessing how I feel about purchasing, whether or not I can actually use up a lot of products, and maybe I'll just start focusing on doing product review, getting through all the things I own at a sensible rate, of course, using things I really like rather than trying to hunt down things that I think should be good. So yeah, this is my question mark. This is my homework. How much do I owe? How much of my $100 budget do I even actually really have left? We'll see if we can stick to that.